Firstly, chocolate is a popular food made from cocoa beans, which comes from cocoa trees. These beans are processed into products like chocolate bars, drinks, and desserts. There are different types of chocolates, such as dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and white chocolate. The difference depends on the ingredients like cocoa, sugar, and milk. Although chocolate is widely enjoyed, there are still some food safety risks. For example, chocolate can be contaminated with bacteria like salmonella. Next, I'll be talking about HACCP. HACCP stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points. It is a food safety management system to prevent hazards in food production by identifying and controlling the hazards. There are three hazards. First is biological hazards like bacteria, yeast, and molds. Second, chemical hazards like pesticides. And third, physical hazards like debris, metal, or glass. These systems focus on preventing problems before they happen by identifying the critical control points where hazards can be controlled. For example, adjusting temperature to kill microbes such as bacteria. Overall, HACCP is important because it helps ensure food like chocolate is safe and has good quality. So I'll be explaining the chocolate production process. First is harvesting. Cocoa pods are harvested from cacao trees and are cut open to collect the cocoa beans inside. Second is fermentation. The cocoa beans are fermented to develop the flavor of the chocolate. Third is drying and roasting. The beans are dried and then roasted to remove moisture and eliminate harmful bacteria such as salmonella. Next is grinding. The cocoa nibs are grounded to release cocoa butter, which turns the beans into a liquid paste called chocolate liquor. After that is conching. The chocolate is mixed and stirred continuously to create a smooth texture and improve the flavor. Finally, tempering and molding. The chocolate is heated and cooled, then it is poured into molds and cooled to form final shape. Overall, each step is important to ensure quality and safety of chocolate products.
Next, I will briefly explain the hazard and control measures in chocolate production. Starting with raw materials, the main hazards include salmonella, pesticide residues, and foreign materials like stones. These are controlled through inspection, proper storage, and supplier approval with certificates of analysis. Next is roasting, which is a critical control point. Hazards include survival of salmonella, formation of harmful compounds due to overheating, and burn particles. Controls involve strict temperature and time adjustment, continuous monitoring, and equipment calibration. During grinding and mixing, contamination, lubricant contamination, and metal fragments may occur. These are managed through equipment sanitation, use of food-grade lubricants, and metal detection systems. In tempering, environmental contaminants are the main concern, controlled by strict hygiene practices and proper temperature control. For packaging, hazards include contamination from handlers and packaging materials, as well as foreign objects. Control include hygienic handling, food-grade packaging, and X-ray or metal detection. Finally, during storage, mold growth, fat bloom, and pest infestation can occur. These are controlled by maintaining proper temperature, using FIFO systems, and implementing pest control programs.
Today I'm going to talk about the main issue in chocolate production. First, in raw materials, problems like poor fermentation can cause bitter taste and carbonation, such as dirt or pesticide residue can affect safety. Second, in processing, improper grinding or incomplete shell removal can lead to uneven size and gritty texture, while incorrect roasting affect the flavor. In formulation, using the wrong ingredient or low quality material can make the chocolate too sweet, too bitter, or affect its texture. Finally, during storage and packaging, heat and moisture can cause melting or sugar bloom, and poor packaging may lead it to contamination. Move on to the next part, which is chocolate production process. So here is the flow diagram of the process. So the process starts with the cocoa being grown and harvested, followed by splitting the pods and fermenting the beans. Then the beans are dry and transported. Next, the beans are cleaned, sorted, and ground. After that, they are blended and go through conching and tempering to improve texture and flavor. Finally, the chocolate is molded, cold, packaged, and transported for sale. This process shows how cocoa beans are transformed into finished chocolate products. Next, I'm going to talk about the one major challenge in cocoa supply shortage due by climate change, such as rising temperature and unpredictable weather. There are also social issues, including child labor and low income for farmers. To address this problem, sustainable practices are important. For example, sustainable farming like agroforest help protect the environment, while fair trade ensure fair wage and reduce child labor. In conclusion, chocolate production involves many steps that must be carefully controlled to ensure safety and quality. The use of hazard analysis and critical control point (HACCP) help identify hazard and apply proper control measure at each stage. From raw material to storage, every step plays an important role in preventing contamination and maintaining product quality. Despite some challenges in production, improvement and sustainable practice are important to ensure the future of the chocolate industry.